In this video, we're gonna break down exactly how much money you can make owning a remote solar business, and we're gonna break it down step by step. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. My name is Ivan, and over the past 6 years, I've dedicated my life in this beautiful industry, the solar industry. If you're brand new to the channel, you consider subscribing, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Now, I have a lot of videos on the channel, over 400 to be exact, and most of them are about solar, lead generation, sales, the business model, and what it actually takes to win in this industry. Now, I decided to record this particular video so you can see the solar math breakdown and what it actually takes for you to get to your monetary goal. And regardless of what industry you're coming from, whether you're almost retired, whether you've owned a successful business, whether you're transitioning from another business to solar, I'm going to show you exactly what it takes for you to get to your income goal. So let's dive right in. Now, the first thing is, obviously everyone's going to have a different monetary goal. Some people are going to be okay with $20,000 a month. Some people are going to be okay with $50,000 a month. Now, I want you to think about that goal for a second. And let's say we're going to take very, very easy math. And I'm going to be using easy numbers so I can actually get the point across and you understand exactly what it takes to get to your income goal. Well, first of all, what is the average solar deal commission in the solar industry? Now, if you're actually helping homeowners save money every single month on their power bills, the commissions are going to go anywhere from $8,000 to about $12,000. That's the industry standard. And by the way, 8 to 12 grand is the average. You can make 15, 20,000, even $30,000 on a deal, right? Now, the $30,000 deals, of course, those are unicorns, but there's a lot of people in the industry, unfortunately, that are making that kind of money by taking advantage of homeowners. Of course, I'm not gonna go into details explaining exactly how they take advantage of people, but the premise is essentially they're selling a lower offset as 100% offset to the homeowners. Now, of course, the homeowners don't know any better, so they just sign the papers and they're happy to get their panels installed. And later on, they find out that it's not a true offset and that they've actually been duped. Now, let's take the average of 8 to 12 and say we're gonna make $10,000 on a deal. Now, this is before expenses like marketing or paying salespeople, people like setters or closers, or people that are involved in actually making the deal happen. Because if you're actually running a remote solar business, you're not gonna work in the business, you're gonna work on the business. So you're gonna have other people that are actually setting and closing for you, right? So let's say the $10,000 is the average of what the company commission is. Now we're gonna have to take into account what it costs to actually produce that sale. And usually it's anywhere between $500 to about $2,000 if you're doing it at scale. So that depends on a few different factors. One is the quality of the leads. So where the leads are actually coming from. Is it from Facebook? Is it from cold calling? Is it from door knocking? Whatever. And it also depends on how skilled those setters and closers actually are, and how much are they actually following up with all the leads they have in the pipeline. Because we all know that the money is in the follow-up, but a lot of people don't want to do the follow-up. They just want to have laydowns. And of course, everyone wants those laydowns, and they do come every once in a while, but it's not on every single occasion. And if you have somebody that's lazy and doesn't want to follow up with the leads that they have in the CRM, well, of course, that's going to hurt your bottom line. And of course, that's going to reflect in your cost per acquisition. So a healthy cost per acquisition is anywhere between $500 to $2,000. Now, let's say on average it costs you $1,000 to produce a $10,000 commission for the company. That's $10,000 revenue minus the $1,000. That gives you $9,000 in profit. Now, of course, that is not net profit. That is gross profit, because you also have to factor in your team members, the people that are actually going to be doing all the work. So usually in the solar industry, I know it's kind of crazy, but depending on the type of people that you're working with, you're going to be doing anywhere between 20 to about 40% on any closed sale. So 20 to 40%. So let's say we're going to take the 30% as an average. We're going to take 30% out of the $10,000, right, which is the company commission, and that leaves us with $3,000. 7 minus 1,000, that's $6,000. Now your profit is $6,000, and now of course the $6,000 is preliminary because it depends on your model. It depends how qualified the leads are, whether they actually need to speak to a setter first. If we have the setter closer model, if you have Facebook leads, you don't really need a setter. You can have all your leads being followed up and closed by the closer. You don't need to really need to have a setter. Now, if you're running a lot of volume, then you might have to introduce a setter, which will run you anywhere between $4 to about $7, $8 an hour, and I'm talking about an overseas setter. Plus, let's say give or take $15 to about $30 per booked appointment, or per sit rather, and then you can cut him a small $50 to $150 commission on the back end once the deal is actually installed and paid out. So we're gonna factor in another $1,000 for that, even though it's not really going to be $1,000, because the more you're running things at scale, the more that $1,000 is actually going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, because one setter is going to be setting so many more appointments that even if you're paying an hourly wage, you know, they're actually doing so much work for you that it doesn't matter. But if you only have a small number of leads, you're already paying them, you know, anywhere between $4 to $8 an hour. So you might as well have a lot of leads. So a lot of times when we build businesses for our clients, we tell them that they don't even need a setter to begin with, depending on what method of acquisition we're actually going to start with. And let's say in the example where you're left with $6,000, which, to be honest, the setter is not really going to cost you $1,000 a deal. I would argue it'd probably cost you anywhere between, you know, $300 to $500. So let's say it's $500. That leaves you with $5,500, which gives you a very, very comfortable cushion, and you can run a nice, profitable business without really worrying about the costs, because you're actually, the majority of your deals commission is going straight back into your pocket. Now you have to actually genuinely sit down and figure out, which is not that difficult, what is your income goal and how many deals do you need to do to get to your income goal. Let's say if your goal is $20,000, all you need to do to surpass that goal is to basically close 4 deals in a month. And that is more than enough for one closer to actually do that. So you could scale the business up to about $30,000 to $40,000 a month comfortably with one closer. Even higher numbers if they're an actual A player and if they really want to also make a lot of money. And the same thing applies if you want to make $50,000. You divide your income goal by 5,000, and that will get you to the amount of deals that you need to do in order to actually get to your income number. And based on the cost per acquisition that we talked about, you're gonna get the $1,000 or $1,500, and then you're gonna multiply that by the number of deals that you actually need to do in order to hit your income number. And if that's 4, if you want to make $20,000, then you're gonna have to spend between $4,000 and $6,000. You see how easy it is to work out those numbers? And I've seen this time and time again. The most successful companies are doing exactly that. It's not rocket science. A lot of people just overcomplicate things unnecessarily, and it's actually very, very simple. Now, if you want me and my team to actually build you a remote solar business in a box with everything you need to have, including a setter, closer, all the CRMs, and everything in between, as well as all my years of expertise and connecting you with the right installers, then you can hit the link in the description down below, fill out the short form, schedule a call, and we'll be happy to talk to you about how you can hit your income goal semi-passively using the remote solar business model. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions, put them down in the comments below. And I'll see you again in the next one.